in the beginning of the new millennium, you will recall that many of the countries in Africa that were involved in internal conflicts, they had to wait for external forces from Africa, that is foreigners, especially the Western world, to come and resolve the problems in Africa. If you know very well today, African ourselves, our governments, are now involved in exploring ways of resolving conflicts in Africa. And there have been a number of credible cases where conflicts have recently been resolved by Africans. I want to give just a few examples. We know that there was a major conflict in the 90s in Mozambique. It is not the foreigners who came to resolve the problem there. It is the African countries which did that. And today, you do have a free and democratic country of Mozambique. Also, you can also take note of the fact that I'd like to talk about our neighboring country of Sudan. For almost 30 years, there was a civil war in Sudan, affecting especially southern Sudan. Now, that conflict was resolved through the involvement of African countries. But I think the key thing is how then, and I think this was raised, how then do we ensure that trade unions are involved? I commend that because, you know, we need to really adopt this strategy of all embracing. Trade union, as I said in my own statement, trade unions, you have got a lot of competencies. You are involved in negotiations. You are involved in mediation. And I think it's the high time that in Africa we tap this talent that trade unions have. And you should now not feel shy to discuss, you see, where you see things going wrong across Africa. Because this is the key thing. If things go wrong and we keep quiet, what is essentially going to happen is that one thing which will start, because there will be an equal distribution of resources, lack of management. There is going to be bad government. All those ones are going to lead to poverty. We will not be able to address the problems of poverty. If you don't address the problems of poverty, you don't address unemployment. These two things, these two vices as I call them, they are going to lead very soon to conflict. And that is where we want to come from. It was stated that the causes of conflicts are not all uniform in Africa. But I think if you look at it, you will see that there are certain common factors. And one common factor of these conflicts, especially within, all of them tend to arise from the denial of freedom to the people. Poor governance. By poor governance, I'm talking in the manner in which the people are allowed to exercise their human rights. Lack of democratic rights. Lack of democratic rights for the people to be able to choose the leaders that they want. Lack of an equal distribution of resources. These are the ones which create problems, first and foremost. Because once you do have those ones, even though there will be conflicts because of competition for resources, for land, for water, then you end up having a viable government. And that will be able to resolve the other ones. And I think, to me, that is the most important thing, namely, that we should insist. Well, I believe that this has not happened. That we must embrace reform, and especially the reforms of the state institutions which are not working properly. Independent judiciary, independent parliament, independent oversight bodies. Those are the ones that are going to help this country.